Hey you guys, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft and bringing you a 2-page layout with some mixed media. Yay! A rare occurrence for me. Anyway, I have these pictures from a tour I gave to some friends of mine at NASA many years ago. I had pulled this blue speckled paper out and I thought I might use it. And then I thought, well, I don't just want a couple of color blocks. I have this red paper from Endless Summer, I think it is, from Echo Park as well. But I decided I didn't want to just color block on white and that I would use some stencils and create a background on these white pieces of cardstock. So this is a fun sort of geometric stencil. I like it. So I'm going to do that in a couple of areas. I want pretty large areas for it. So I'm just extending that area down so it's a pretty big chunk. In this process, it didn't take me too long. So I'm going to do this to both sheets of paper. But first, I'm going to sprinkle some water to create a little bit of a distressed look. And rather than just spraying the water, I'm trying to get it to drip. And that just takes off. This is distress oxide, and so adding the water lifts that pigment off. So it adds a little bit of a distressed look. And then I'm going to continue it over here. I'm going to treat these like they're connected. But I don't want the 2 pages to be too symmetrical. And since that's a smaller bit, I thought I would put one up at the top as well. All right, and I'll do the same water sprinkling. And now I want to add some red, and I have some, I think it's Echo Park stencil with some stars, different shapes of stars. And I'm using Lumberjack Plaid as the color here. The other color is Blueprint. So at first I was going to go completely over the blue, in which case it turns a little purple, and so I decided to start it on the blue and just extend it out. And I really like that effect. So both of those pieces of paper are done. And now I don't like the look of that speckled blue on there. It's just the wrong blue. I probably should have used the blue jeans color, faded jeans color. It probably would have matched that piece of paper better. So now I'm searching for the right color blue for this. I do find it, and I like the way the page came out in the end, but right here I was struggling a bit. So I have this, it's a Creative Memories cardstock, and then I have this red paper from Echo Park with white polka dots on it. So I'm just going to lay out the photos. I do try and filter those out. And then I decide I am going to rearrange them a bit. This one I trim to 4x4. The others are all going to stay true digital, which is 4 by 5.3. I didn't make you sit through the matting. I cut that. So these are all matted with white cardstock. And then I'm going to double mat them. I also pulled out this red alpha. I know I just used it on the last page, but it's a completely different style of page, and it's just too perfect. Those red foam letters are too perfect for this page. So I decided to use them. So as I said, this is from Endless Summer, Echo Park, and I really like that pop of red on there. And then I have this blue paper, and I was going to mat them maybe individually or on a single sheet like that. And then I decide, well, let's make it a little more impact and make it seem like it's a single piece of paper across the 2 pages. So I'm going to space those things out a little bit more. And I end up not putting them all the way up against the seam. So the 2 pages really sort of end up mirroring each other instead of looking like a single piece of paper. But I'm happy with the outcome. And I decide here I'm covering up too much of the red, and I want to add a little bit more of the red stars so that they'll show a bit more. Yeah, that's much better. And again at the top. So I'm going to just cut these to the same size. I'm just using my pencil to mark them. And this cardstock is a really good match for this blueprint ink, oxide anyway. So I'm just centering these so they're pretty large mats. So not exact mirrors, but pretty close. And I'm liking the look of that. And I'm ready to commit. Now, I didn't have a ton of ephemera pulled for this. I had a few pieces, and I will try and use most of those. Some of them don't make it, like these little flags. I think I want to use them, and then they don't look right. Though from here, they don't look that bad. So, and then this said good times, I think. Oh, good vibes. So, a little bit of a struggle with ephemera on this. So I'm going to play with these things for a bit, and then I'm going to go off and use some punches to cut some stars out of the red polka dot paper and the scraps from the blue paper. But first, I think, before I go do that, I'm going to put the title down. And instead of NASA tour or touring NASA, I just say epic tour. I am going to journal. I will journal in the bottom right corner straight onto the page. I have not done that yet, but that's where the journaling will go. Rather than creating a tag, I did think about maybe creating a tag, but I think I can write just onto the page. Probably in blue. So now I have to just scoot things over, and I made a huge mistake. These letters do lift up off the paper. They do not lift off of photos. So that R is going to cause me an issue. First of all, I tear it, pulling it off, and it leaves a big red blotch on the photo that I'm going to have to figure out how to cover. So, I had to sacrifice that R and use a different one. So I have this one pinwheel, and it has little stars on it, so I like that. And a few little wordy bits, and that empty frame that I'll try and use. The enjoy I thought was going to work. It doesn't work with this color as well. So I'm going to go off. I'm not going to make you wait. So here are the stars that I made. I made a couple of different shaped stars. The blue ones are embossed. So here I'm still trying to make those little flags work. And I basically give up on them at some point. Sometimes things that you wanted to make work just wouldn't. Plus, that would be the only spot that I really had yellow on the page. So that seemed a little strange. So I'm just trying to audition those stars in different locations. And that little tag there says this way. Since, you know, when you're giving a tour, all right, we're walking this way. So I just use that star to cover up that little blotch on the photo. My mistake. So I use that frame sort of as a foundation for an embellishment cluster. And I'll bring one over to this side as well. All right, so now I'm going to start popping a few things up just to give a little more dimension. And I also go back into my ephemera binders looking for a few more things, and I do find a couple of more red items that I pull out just to add to these clusters a little bit because they were still feeling a little bit plain to me. And I'm not sure if I show you that or not. I think I do. I think you can see it. And these are some little round stars, little round circles with stars on them. So I spread those around. And a couple of little words. One says, "Love this place." So these are my color binders, and I find some, now this is an even deeper red than the bright red paper, but it works because it's real close to the color of the letters and that ink. So just some extra bits and pieces that I had. That's not quite the right blue, so I don't think I grabbed any more blue items. They just weren't the right colors. I did pull this and think it could have worked, but I probably would have wanted more florals on there had I used that. I do really like it though. I have another red, white, and blue page coming up that I need to make for when my daughter and I went and voted. So maybe I'll use that on that page. It was her first, I don't always take a picture of myself voting, but it was her first time to ever vote, so I took a picture. All right, and we're ready for some close-ups, I think. I just added some navy blue gems to this for a little glitz. And let's take a close-up look. Thank you guys for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not subscribed. I do post 5 or 6 days a week.